Welcome to today's design with Pam. Today we're going to be designing this landing page. It's a simple page for a payment solution company and we're going to design it today using Figma. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is to get your frame. So you're going to go to the toolbar here and click on this tool here. The drop down will show you some options: frame, section, and slice. Today we're going to go with frame. Now another way for you to activate this is to hit the F on your keyboard, which automatically activate the frame tool, and you can select any frame from this right section, which is the properties section. So I'm going to click the drop down for desktop and I'm going to choose desktop. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and title this one and let's just say payment solution. Okay, so the first thing first is we're going to start designing the this menu section. All right, it's actually very simple. So I'm going to use a frame. I'm going to go back and select frame, but this time around I'm not going to use some of these customized frames here. I'm going to drag my own frame myself. So once I've done that, is 90. So from this right hand section where you have the properties panel, so depending on whatever you select on your Figma file, that is what you do. That is, this section, this properties section is going to change. So let's imagine I select this whole frame. You're going to see the properties that it has. If I select this one, you're also seeing the properties that it has. So remember that I've already created a frame here. I've already created a frame here. Now you might not see it because we've not added a fill color. Now I'm going to click on the plus sign to add a fill color. However, it's still not visible because this fill color is the same thing with the desktop color, which is white. So let's go ahead and change the desktop color first. I'm going to click on the desktop itself just to select it, and I'm going to go to this fill, this place where you have fill, and I'm going to click on this little box here. Once I click on it, I'm going to select and then pick this color from the desktop. So I'm going to pick it here and automatically changes the color. Now you can see the color of our navigation that we're trying to create. So remember I said I'm going to make the height as 90. So here this is where you have the width, this is where you have the height. So it's going to be same width with the frame that we are using, which is 1440, and I'm going to select that. Now I'm going to start adding my text, all this text that you see here. First of all, I'm going to take the logo. So if you have the logo anywhere, let's say you have it on your laptop, you can just go here, click on here and select file and then place an image. Automatically takes you to your file manager to import an image here, and you can place your logo in the right place. All right, so I'm going to paste it here. However, what I'm going to also do is to select this frame and I'm going to put our layout grid because that is very important. It's hitting the navigation bar. So I've imported my logo here. All right, I'm going to create this navigation text, then this call to action button here. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard and then I'll start typing. I'm going to type home. We have home. Then I'm going to duplicate this by holding the option button on my keyboard and then dragging this out. Then I'm going to write about and I'm going to do the same. You can just click Command C, Command V to duplicate too, but I like holding the option key and then dragging out. Then we have services. So the reason you're not seeing all the sidebars here is because I turned it off. So if you hit the right, if you click on the right of your mouse, right, so you can get these options here. You can see show/hide UI. So I'm going to activate it again and I'm going to show you my settings here. So I'm using Sophia Sans and I'm going to select the all the text here because I want to change it to bold, not bold. So I'm going to click on it, hold on shift key and then select the other ones and then change it to bold. I'm using a font 16. I'm leaving my line height same way, and I'm leaving my letter spacing same way because I like the spacing. Then I'm going to create this call to action button. Let me duplicate this and write contact us. So I'm going to turn this into an auto layout by hitting Shift A on my keyboard, and I'm going to change the I'm using the font I'm using for this is still 16, and you can use between 16 to 24. Then I'm still going to leave the height for this. I want this to be up to 52. Let's leave it as 52. Then the width you can use between 150 to 300. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to change the corner radius to 24. I like using my spacing, my font, everything. I like using things that is divisible by 4. So my font, I start with 16. That's the for very visible text. Then very little text, I go with 12. I hardly use 10 or 8. I like stopping at 12. But especially except it's actually very necessary, then you use 10. But I hardly use 10 for a web design, as you can get that mostly on mobile. When you're designing for mobile, we use smaller text. Okay, so smaller fonts, right? So this one is set, the corner radius is set to 24. So you're not seeing anything here because the fill color is not yet there. So I already have my style guide here, some of the colors that I use. So I'm going to go to my style guide, and I'm going to choose this black here. So I'm going to show you not this black. Okay, I'm still going, let me deactivate it. I think the opacity is at let me still add it here. I'm going to still add it here. The opacity for that one is at 40. So let me add it. I'm going to add black 100%. I'm going to title it. So I'm adding this to like my library. So whenever I need a color, a particular color, I'm not going to like start typing the color code or start picking it out. I already have it in my library. So this is how you can add color style to your library. So I'm going to hit return on my keyboard, and yeah, that's it. So you can't see that because the text on the call to action button is almost the same thing. I'm going to change it to white. All right, so I'm going to change the color, the text color of this ones too. I'm going to use the same color I used here, black 100%. Okay, so we're good. I'm going to try to position it here. So I'm going to increase this a little bit. So the horizontal padding is, let me make it 24, while I leave okay, this one I'm going to make it 16. I think that is fine. Then I'm going to select all of it. Let me hide this UI so you could see. I'm going to click on this one, hold my shift button and select all of this, and then click on Shift A to put an auto layout. But I want my spacing to be up to, let's say 48. I think that's okay. Then I'm going to select this one, this items here, hit on my shift, select this one, and then add an auto layout by clicking Shift A. All right, so the spacing between this 262, let's leave it at 84. I'm using my grid lines as guide, right? So this starts here. So the spacing here is, let's make the spacing 120. I'm going to select this whole frame here, like this items here, and I'm going to hit my shift button and then select my logo, then hit Shift A. I'm activating an auto layout here. Then I'm going to pull back my UI, and then I'm going to come here to this alignment section, and I'm going to align it to the middle and make sure I also align vertical centers. So you can see this is in the middle of my frame, of this navigation frame here. So that's for the that's for the navigation section, right? So let's go ahead and create this other sections here. So remember, when you're designing, it has to do with like the style guide you've been given, the color of the brand, all of that. You try to make use of colors to drive a message, right? So you try to make use of the size of the font to drive a message. You can see the places I use darker fonts are places I wanted to emphasize a message on. I use colors on some section because I wanted to add some of the brand colors and then also point users to that direction, sort of, right? Let's go ahead and hit T on our keyboard to activate the test option here. So I'm going to type trusted online payment solution. Okay, so I'm going to activate my UI back. Then I'm going to change this the font size to be 48. I drag it down to this section. The font I'm using here is Manrobe, and I use size 48. So let's try to make it bolder. I use bold. Then this line height, I'm going to make it to be 141. Then this I'm going to just tilt it to be -1 just a bit. Okay, so this is good. So I'm going to click on T again on my keyboard, and then I'm going to type the subtext that we have here. It says, I'm just going to copy it. You can copy it too. I'm typing it here. Let me create a text box here, just something little. So I'm using Sophia Sans, and I'm using 16. Okay, so I'm going to select the both of them by hitting selecting the first one and hitting shift, then click create an auto layout. I want the spacing to be, so they're kind of related items, right? Because they're both like passing message about the product. They're kind of related, so I'm not going to use too much space here. I think 24 is okay. Remember, I told you I like using anything divisible by 4. Sometimes I use things to divisible by 8, just in the family of 4 and 8, right? I'm an even number person. So but it has helped me like maintain some sort of alignment, especially when when I'm designing, right? So let's create the call to action button. I'm going to click T. What do we have here? We have request a demo. So I'm going to type request a demo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an auto layout with this by hitting shift A on my keyboard, and the line height, I'm going to use it as 52 too, just like we had before. And the width, I told you that the width can be between 150 to 300. So let's make use of this. Let's make use of the 3 grid lines that we have here. I think it's okay. So I'm going to round the corners to up to 100, right? Okay, I'm going to zoom in to ensure that this is on my line. I'm going to zoom in and ensure this is on my line. So we have 292. I'm going to leave my horizontal padding to be 24, or my vertical padding should be 8. All right. So let's add a fill. So we used black, pure black, that last time. So I'm going to change the text to be white. No, the text, I'm using text font 20, and I'm making it to be bold. Yes. Then I'm going to select this one, then select this other one. Then I'm going to create an auto layout. Then the spacing I'm going to put here should be up to 48. I think that's good. So let's check the spacing between this and that, between the navigation menu and where this hero text is starting. I can use a 120. Let's see. Yeah, I think let's use a 120 for starters. Okay, so that's that for this hero section text, for this section. So we're going to try to create this other section here. We're getting there. So before that, I'm going to increase the height of this call to action button to 56, please. I like it better like this. Just hit O on your keyboard, but let me show you what that is here. So you go to this toolbar here, you click on this drop down, and you select the ellipse tool. O activates it. So I'm just going to hold on to my shift key on my keyboard, and then I'm going to drag out. So holding on to the shift key on your keyboard, it just so that you have a definite shape, like something that is precise, right? So if you don't hold on to the shift key, let's say you click O and you start dragging, it's not going to have a nice same kind of shape, or yeah, that's the word. So it's not going to come out as even as that. So I have this here, and I think the color is green. The color is green here, so I'm going to change the color to green. Then I'm going to go to my plugins and go to hero icons. If you don't have it already on your plugins, just go to manage plugins here and type hero icons. Hero icons here, because I want that check icon. I want to get the check icon. I think this is it. I just love hero icon, like they give me exactly what I want. So I'm removing it from the frame that I came with. I don't like it in the frame for reasons best known to me. Then I want to reshape this, right? So if you want it to reshape like proportionately, just hit K on your keyboard to activate this tool. That's a scale tool. Then just scale it down. You can also scale it down by holding on to your shift button on your keyboard and then resizing it. So black color doesn't suit well. So to go back to your move tool, because we use the move tool when we're working, you just click on V on your keyboard, or you just come here and select the move tool. Right, I'm going to zoom in very well. I want to position this in the center, so I'm going to select it, then hit the shift button, select this ellipse that we've created, and then I'm going to go to the color here and then change it to white. I'm going to hit the side of your mouse and then create the option. We pop out like this. You get this option, then create a group selection. So I'm grouping it, right? So the other thing that we have here is a rectangle that I worked on. So I'm going to hit R key on your keyboard and then activate the rectangle tool, then draw a shape here, then go to the corner radius and make it up to 100, because the edges here I want it to be rounded. So I'm going to change the color to green, but I'm going to detach the star because I want to work on this. I want it to be a linear color. I'll make it like this. I'm just dragging it so that we have that fading effect. Okay, so I added another color in between, another effect here. So if you just hover around this line here and you want to add any other color, or any other effect. You see the plus sign automatically comes. Once you click on it, you then have it comes there. Okay, so I think we're good. I'm going to select this one and select the other one and create a frame on it. All right, so I'm going to create the text that you see there. I'm going to hit T on my keyboard and I'm going to type, what's the test? Secure gateway. Secured gateway. Is it gateway or get? Oh, gateway. Gateway. All right, but I'm using Manrobe. I like that font for a reason best known to me. So I'm making the font 24. Making the font 24. So even if you don't have the grid line on, Figma is so intuitive, right? It just points you towards like the lines. Once you're moving an items on the frame, you get to see the red lines or the lines telling you, oh, place it here, you're good to go, this is good. All right, so the small test that is there, I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to just go and copy this test here. Our systems are end-to-end secured. All right, so it automatically gave me the font I use. So I use Sophia Sans and 16. I use regular. Okay, so let's put back our grid line because I want to see what I'm doing. All right, so I just want this whole thing. I want the test to be on just two of these grid lines. So I'm going to reduce it. So let it be there. So I'm going to select the first one and select the second one. Add an auto layer, an auto layout. I want the spacing to be 24. Then I'm going to select this one and select this one again. I want the spacing to be 38. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this, place it here. So what's the test there? Easy navigation. So I'm going to edit the test. I don't want this to be easy navigation. What did I write here? I'm just going to copy it and paste it. I'm going to increase this a bit. Okay. All right, so I'm going to select the both of them and add an auto layout. So for the spacing, we're going to use 78. I think this is good. Let's make sure this comes to the edge here. The spacing between these two can be 94. That. Then let's start creating this other frames here, this whole section here. So before we do that, let's take time out to admire what we have done. So I'm going to close this grid layout. And so see, we are getting there. We are really getting there. Let's look at all we have here, all the items we have here. So we have the shape here, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. Okay, so let's start by creating this one. I'm going to hit O on my keyboard to activate the ellipse tool, and let's put back our I'm using the size. Okay, I think they should be both. Let's use 74. All right, so let's change the color to our favorite black here. No, this black 100%. Then let me detach the style because I want to make I want to let it have a radial. Right, so this one, let's make it to be white. Why the second one? Let's give it this fill color. However, I'm making this to be 100%. Okay, so another thing we can do here is to add some stroke. So no, the stroke should be, let's use this color. Let's make it linear. So the first color here should be 42%. We're leaving it at 42. Why the second one? Same color, we'll leave it at. It's just one of those things that we do, right? Okay, we have something. So let's create the other one. So let me show you what this one is. I'm going to duplicate this and duplicate this. So this is the shape that we have here. So we're just going to also click on O on our keyboard and hold on to Shift key and then just drag a shape. So let's leave this as 104, right? So let's change the color by giving it a green, but we're reducing the opacity. Let's reduce the opacity, right? Then we've created something similar, so we can simply just click on. So if you have this item and you want to copy something here, just hold on to your command or your control key and then click on that item. You automatically select it, or you can just come to this section 2 and select what you want. And I'm going to click on Command C, Control C, Command C or Control C, and I'm going to paste it here. But I'm going to click on K on my keyboard just to increase the scale it up, right? I think it's too much. So this green is not giving the green that we used there. So let's see, what green did we use here? Okay, let's just copy the color code here and paste it. I'm going to change this. I think same thing goes here. So I'm going to select this whole frame here and then go to, this is where, so once, if you're looking for the colors you use on a particular frame or on the whole desktop, right, once you select the desktop or anything, you also just scroll down, you're going to see selection color. These are all the colors that have been used on this section. So if you want to change a particular color, maybe you want to change green across all of them, you don't need to select each of the item to be changing colors. So right here, I want to change this particular color just to have the same color with this one. So you can see the two colors here. I'm just going to detach this color and then paste the color that I used. Then I'm also going to go to this linear thing that I created here, and I'm going to change the color here, change the color again, and then change the color too. Right, so we've created this. So that means we have created this item, we have created this item here. Now what's left for us now is to create the shape, create the shape, create the shape, and create all the shape. I think so far so good. You can actually do it on your own, right? Yeah, I believe so. All right, so let's create the first shape. So I'm going to go ahead to click on R on my keyboard. R activate the rectangle frame or the rectangle tool, rectangle shape. So I'm going to click on R on my keyboard and I'm going to drag, but I have a size I'm giving to it. I want to give it a 290. A 292 is okay. However, remember, we must make use of our grid lines. So yeah, let's keep it here. Oh, it snapped right in. Remember what we did here. So I'm also going to select this too. I want to create a group with this, then I can uncreate the group because I place it here, and I'm going to ungroup this. Remember, if you want this options here, just right click on your mouse and the options comes out. So I'm going to ungroup this. Sometimes I group items to move them around because I want them to be the same spot. I move them around and I ungroup it to help me manipulate it. So I'm going to select this first one, this vector here, and I'm going to select the ellipse here, and I'm going to click on bring to front. All right, so this is in front already. Remember, I left this one at the back. This one too should be brought to front. Bring to front. So for this one, I'm going to make the height a 267 or 268. Let's say 268. Okay, so I'm also going to make the color. I have a color in mind. You can copy out the color code 142C. I like that color. So I'm leaving it at 100% opacity. So I'm going to find an image, right? But still, first let me change the corner radius to 24. Then I'm going to find an image. Let's see what we use here. Let's see. So again, I'm going to my plugins. I love Figma plugins because you can get a lot of shapes, images, icons, stuff that you can use while designing. Makes your work so easy, and they are mostly free. So I'm going to go to pixels. Pixels are for images. You're going to see it right now. Now it's for images, portrait, minimalistic photos, you know, something random and classy. You get to have it there. All right, so I'm just going to type laptop. Let's see if we're going to find the same image. But however, for the purpose of this tutorial, we're not going to focus on the what we're selecting, but just have it in mind. Make sure you use an image that is of high quality. Make sure you take time to choose an image of high quality, and your image should also be the same, like same, what's the word that we use now, same style of image. The first image should not be like have a different kind of style from the first image. They should have like a relationship, right? Something to say that they're kind of the same. Maybe you might not get a picture that says very well, but let's say a photography style that says, okay, these two can actually match, right? So make sure you do that. Make sure your image is of high quality and you're paying attention to your image. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want it to be on the frame. I'm going to select this one. I just want to remove the background. So if you want to remove background on Figma, there's a plugin which is called Remove BG. That suits me very well, and I'm going to run this plugin here. So I'm going to click on K on my keyboard, and I'm going to reshape this because I want it to be smaller. Okay, serves very well. So I'm going to try to move this item here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my mouse around it to select everything. Then I'm going to move it to this section here because I want to give room for the other item. Remember, follow the grid lines. Figma is so intuitive. It's already telling you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Okay, so I'm going to click on R on my keyboard, and then I'm going to draw another shape. But this time around, I'm going to make the width to be 294. 294 is okay. Then I'm going to make the height to be 288. 288. I'm just trying to position it well so that it stays very well. If this video has been helpful so far, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This will encourage me to continue putting up UI design tutorial out there for everyone, and please share. You might be helping someone out. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to drag this, I'm going to drag this up a bit. I want this, so I'm going to select this rectangle here, and I want the spacing to be 78. I think that's okay. The spacing from the navigation bar is 78. That's okay. So if you want to know the spacing that you have, just select the two items and you're going to see it, or you can see the spacing that you have round and right around here. So I'm going to change the corner radius to be 24 too, and I'm going to find an image that suits it. So I'm still going to use pixels to find an image of a man. Maybe I will say payment. Right, so finding an image is actually another task on its own. It takes time, takes you paying a lot of attention, but it's worth it. I'm just using a random image here. So make sure you find a perfect image that suits whatever you're designing. This is a payment solution company's page, right? So you have to find an image that speaks to what you're designing for. So I'm going to type and click on T on my keyboard, and I'm going to type what online shopping made easy. All right, online shopping made easy. So I'm going to make sure the text is, let's use 24 as a test. We're going to resize this, and then we're going to make it extra bold. Okay, so sometimes when you want to place a text on an image, maybe the image is too bright and you're not getting the right contrast, make sure that any text you have on your desktop or on your design, on your website design, is actually very legible, and people can actually read it, people can actually see it, right? Make sure your website is accessible in every aspect there is. So what I'm going to do now is to click on R on my keyboard again. I'm going to draw a shape, another shape on this. Let's make use of the same size. This is 294. I'm going to give it a 294 too, and this is 288. I'm going to give this size, this new frame or rectangle, the same. Then I'm going to change the corner radius to 24 too. What I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to achieve more like I'm trying to make the text on this image readable. So I'm going to change this, I'm creating like an overlay. Yes, that's the word. So I'm going to change this text, this frame, or rather this rectangle, to black. Then I'm going to try to reduce the opacity, right? Then I'm going to put back my text. But again, the way you can see that you cannot see the text, that means maybe this text is not, the rectangle might be on the text based on this section that you see here. You can see the text is underneath the rectangle. So for you to make this text more visible, just drag it up. You can see now, you can see the difference between what we had before and what we have now. Make sure your texts are readable. Don't use aesthetics to defeat the purpose of having a website, which is to satisfy users, right? Okay, so we have that. I'm going to like try to position it. I want to know where this item here now is, what size it is on the frame, where it is positioned. So once I select it, I'm going to hit option to see the numbers, the pixels, right? So from this edge here, you can see it's 20 pixels far from this edge, but I want it to be 24. So I'm going to use the move arrow on my keyboard and move it to be 24. I think I like it like that. From the bottom is 50. Let's make it a 48. Okay, so I think I like it like this. So next item on our agenda is to create this card here, this one, and this one. All right, so what we have now is, let's create this card here, so I'm going to close the layout grid, and so we can see what we have so far. So far so good. We're doing a great job, like a great job. So let's try to design again. So click on R on your keyboard and then drag a shape, form a shape. You can see again, Figma is so smart. You see, you can see these items here showing you, this line here, the red line showing you that, oh, you're on the right track, your work is aligned, you're on, you know. But again, let's make use of our our grid layout. So I'm going to put the grid layout back. So for this shape here, I want to use it as wide as 293 or 294. So I'm going to make use of this three grid lines here, this grid lines here. I'm going to push this back, zoom in and make sure that this is snapped right in. So for the height, I'm using, let's use a 396. All right, so let's change the corner radius to 24. I think that serves. All right, so what we're trying to do, let me give you the proper context. We're trying to create this item. So this is payment through time, more like showing users that, oh, people are actually making payment with this account, you know. So if it's going to be something that is on the landing page, maybe you should not add an ID information. Just know that I added this information just for the purpose of this tutorial, but ensure that you don't divulge sensitive information of your customers. Okay, so we're going to type real-time payments and all of this. Don't worry, it's not hard. I'm going to change this fill color to white. So just hit T on your keyboard and type real-time payments. I'm using Sophia Sans and it's on 16 hero icons and get this icon. So I'm choosing this and change the color. So the way it's this icon frame here, the reason you can see this title here is because this is not in our frame. It is not in our frame. It is not inside our frame. So if I close this whole frame now, you can still see the icon is on its own, is out of the frame. So I'm going to try to bring it into the frame. This is it. And remember, we're designing into this place, so I'm going to bring it back into the frame. So once I bring it back into our frame, you can see it has disappeared. So I'm changing the color. It's too dark for my liking. I'm changing the color to our black. Still too dark. Okay, so this is okay. I'm going to select the board and add an auto layout, and I'm going to center it. I'm going to see, so because this shape here, this rectangle shape here is not a frame, I might not be able to click it. If I click on this one, it's going to center based on the parent frame, which is this payment solution frame that we have here. But if I want to center it to this rectangle, I'm going to hold this item and then hit my shift button and then select the rectangle itself and then click on this alignment, center alignment here. But I want the spacing here between the top and this item here to be 24. You know, I like 24. All right, I think it's okay. This is great. Now maybe we can reduce the size to 83. All right, so we're good to go. Right, so the next item is, the next item, click on T on your keyboard and type so let's use a 14 because I don't want it to be dragging with this title, but you're still going to notice it. Let's use a medium. Right, so let's create this shape. Click on O on your keyboard, hit shift and create a perfect shape. So I want to add a text here. Let's just say P. I'm going to add it to this shape. It's at the back of the shape. So I'm going to click on the item and right click on my mouse and then bring to front. Then I'm going to select the both of them and create a group selection. I want to change the color of this. Let's make use of this color, or let's just copy the color that we have here. Okay, so this is good. This text here, I'm going to change it to black. So I'm going to select this one, select this group here, and then okay, no, let's put our ID 8995. So remember, we used the size of text to portray there should be an hierarchy with the text, right? So I can't keep this, I don't want to keep this ID number to be the same font, same size, and same color with this, because they are both, if they are both the same color, it's more, you have, what's the word? Okay, so let's use a different color just to portray different significance or hierarchy of importance, right? So I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this to regular, and I'm going to change the color to, so we can use any of the colors that we have here. So this is good. This other one, let's change it to this. So I'm going to reduce the font to 12. Then I'm going to select this and add an auto layout, make the spacing to be 4. Then I'm going to make sure I select this and select the group here, and then add an auto layout too. So where's the other one? We're adding amount. I'm just going to copy the amount here. So I'm going to drag this out and paste the amount that I've already copied here. So I'm going to make this extra bold. Might be too much. Let's make it extra bold is okay. So I'm going to select the both and add an auto layout. Make sure the auto layout is aligned to the top right. So we have it. I'm just going to duplicate this, click on the both, select an auto layout, make sure the spacing 16 is okay. Then I'm going to click on this other one. I'm going to select this one and then click Command C, Command V. So once you've added something on auto layout, it snaps everything in one place, so you can easily, once you copy and paste, it's going to copy in the same manner and paste in the same manner, so you're having the same spacing, the same item, everything aligned very well. So I'm just like creating multiples of this. Then I'm going to select this frame here, select this other one, create an auto layout, and then add a spacing of 24. I think that's okay. I'm going to center align this. Remember, you have to select the both items since it's not a frame. Center align this, and it's as simple as that. So the next item we're going to create is this card here. So for the card, the fourth card here, we're clicking on the arrow on the keyboard and we're going to draw a shape, but I'll give you the sizing now. So for the width, let's use a 291. Okay, 292 is okay. Then we're going to, for the height, let's use a 174. Then the corner radius should be 24 again. All right, so let's change the color. Let's work on the color. So the color, I'm going to use this color. You can just copy the color code. But I'm making it a linear. I'm changing it to be linear. So I'm going to add another color here, but I want it to be white. Just going to shape it like this, size it like this. I'm putting the white here, but I'm going to reduce the opacity. So this last one too is going to be white. It's white, and I'm reducing the opacity. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm just going to push this here, drag it down, so this is also highlighted. All right, so this is the color that I used for this one. I used white, but I reduced it to 0. For the last one too, I used white. For this last effect here, I also used white and reduced the opacity to 0. So let's type our text here. So for this number here, I'm going to use type bank. So this is just an illusion of like a bank card to make users know that, oh, you're using a card. You can use a card here. So I'm just ensuring that the size from the up part is 24. 32 from this side is okay, but I'm going to change the color to white. It's an extra bold. I think bold is okay. Then I'm going to create those numbers you see. But what I'm going to use a different font here, because this font serves very well for what we're about to do. So I'm going to use space mono font. So we have this. Then I'm going to just type card holder's name. Well, I'm going to change it back to our Sophia Sands. So I'm just going to use a bit of shape here just to depict that something is supposed to be here, something is supposed to be here. We're just giving an illusion of a card, right? But 24, I'm making this a 16. I'm pushing this up, bringing this to join it. I'll change the color now to white. I think it's good. For this test here, let's just make it to be regular. Regular is okay. I think we're good. Let's drag this up a bit. All right, so yes, so this is the card. This is the card here. We're done with the card. We're done with this section. And so yes, this is it. So for bonus, I leave it up to you to design this other section. Let me hide this UI. You can design this other section. It's not hard, and you can, once you design this other section and you have the same frame, you can send me a DM on my Instagram at Pamela the Designer, then I can maybe grade your design or something, right? So please, if you found this video helpful, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Pamela the Designer. Thank you.